Hello, Anashe, and today I would like to talk to you about cultural appropriation and the way and its meaning that comes in witchcraft. And once again, my opinions are not going to be popular at all, but fuck it. It's about time somebody says something about this that is actually intelligent. So, let's begin. I'm reading the definition from Wikipedia at the beginning, and let's discuss this. Cultural appropriation, often framed as cultural misappropriation, is a concept in sociology dealing with adaptation of elements of minority culture by members of the dominant culture. It is distinguished from equal cultural exchange due to the presence of colonial elements and the imbalance of power. Cultural misappropriation is often portrayed as harmful in contemporary culture and is claimed to be a violation of collective intellectual property rights of the originating minor culture, notably indigenous culture, and losing and leaving those under colonial rule. Often unavoidable when multiple cultures come together. Cultural exchange as well as misappropriation can include using others' cultural, religious tradition, fashion symbols, language, and songs. Now, did you know that was actually the definition? Because, let me tell you, the two important things from this definition is it's a concept in sociology, and sociology is a science, is like at least a humanistic science, and it's unavoidable. Yes, it is unavoidable. Meaning, okay, when I was like 4 years old, my mother decided that I would go for Purim, and Purim is like somewhat like the Jewish Halloween. It's the time where everybody dresses up. She decided that I would dress up as a cowboy. But I didn't know what a cowboy was. Obviously, I'm not American. Obviously, I'm not American from the Wild West. Obviously, I don't have a culture of the Americans. But I was dressed as a cowboy. This is an act that would be considered a cultural appropriation because we took something from one culture and we made it into our culture, and we did it wrong. The symbology of the hat was wrong. I even got, at that time there was a shortage of real guns, so we had like this weird sci-fi gun like in my boot, so I didn't have the right guns. I wasn't appropriately giving homage to the right culture from which I took it from, and yet it was okay, at least in 89, when I was like 4 years old. So, cometh the question, was this a bad way of cultural appropriation? Because if you read and go inside the cultural appropriation, you will see that there is an ongoing debate about what it is, when it's applied correctly, when it's applied not correctly. When you and your friends have no Mexican background, but you go out and decide that you're going to have yourself some tacos, you're incorporating Mexican food into your daily life. This is cultural appropriation. Now, some people will come to me and tell me, cultural appropriation happens only when the culture that somebody is borrowing from is being insulted or being stripped from its cultural inheritance. And I will say that, look, culture is big and wide and has a lot of range, and there are individuals in the cultures. Some people would be insulted for everything that can happen. Like, okay, let me give an example. I'm a practitioner of voodoo. If you throw me to Africa, to places where voodoo is being practiced, some places would be like, yay! People in Israel, even though they are not like us, are honoring our ancestors and paths and ways. But and we should teach them how to do it right. And I encountered such people. And other people said, well, I'm sorry, your skin is not dark enough to practice voodoo, so we are not sharing our cultural inheritance with you. So what should I do? Should I do some other religion? Should I change my religion? Should I become something else? I think that the first way to deal with cultural appropriation is understanding this is a term from sociology and not a way to stop a conversation or to win an argument, because it become like one of those things, one of those catchphrases that you throw in the air today and that stops an argument. It's like, oh my God, why have you made a kigel? It's a Jewish food. You're culturally appropriating that food, so you shouldn't be doing this. Or why are you purifying with sage? You're culturally appropriating burning sage from Native Americans. And you're doing it wrong because you're not singing that particular sage song that you should be singing while burning sage, so it's done wrong. Well, even if you look back and learn the history of witchcraft itself, you will see that basically like these people did the thing and that other people copied that thing, so there is a new thing. Like, we found in Israel Hebrew lead tablets inscribed with curses, which is something the Greek people did, the Roman people did, the European people in general did, the Celtic people did that. They copied this thing of writing something on a lead thing as a hex, rolling it up and sticking it into somewhere to hex somebody. So everybody did that. I didn't see like somebody stopping themselves. I'm sorry, you cannot write a curse on a lead tablet and bury it because this is wrong. This is cultural appropriation. Okay? That's because some sorcerers did that. It worked. They saw it's working for them. They copied the technique. It worked for them too. Great. So the fact that the oldest ones that we find were like, were Greek, that doesn't mean that the only Greek people can do that. And the reason why we're not having a discussion about this is because, different cultures have like, those are cultures that are dead. But let's look at something else. My cell phone. It's a Xiaomi. It's a Xiaomi by Huawei, a Chinese company, and it is Chinese. I'm using a Chinese product. I'm culturally appropriating that product. I'm not using it the way Chinese people would use it. I might, run different songs, watch different YouTube movies, maybe I'll even talk shit against the Chinese government in that Chinese phone. And this is not the way they intended it. And I bet there are people from China that will tell me that they are highly insulted that I took this cell phone and said something bad about Chinese government within it. Should I give them the cell phone back and buy something Korean or something else? Now, the thing is this. One should not mock other cultures. That's bad. One should not think that one is superior on other cultures. And this is something postmodernism did for us. We understood that, like, just the fact that we have missiles and weapons and technology, there is an importance in that as much as, like, the oral tradition of the Ashanti. We understood that all cultures have something to give to the human collective. Okay? This is what postmodernism did. But using cultural misappropriation or cultural appropriation as a stop thing to delegitimize people without actually looking deep and in an academic way, not just like in my opinion way, but as an academic sociological study to see if there is a negative result to that form of appropriation or not, should really, really stop. Well, that's my 2 cents. Please, I would like to hear your 2 cents on the subject. You can do a video response or comment below. Thank you and a share. And I would like to dedicate this video to Marina, an artist friend that makes lovely pyrography. Thank you, Marina, for all your beautiful arts and beauty. Goodbye and a share.